right, keep it going for your next storyteller, Sam.
We met in an unusual place, a house party turned art show in Chicago in 1998. But it was a weird time for me. I was 28. I'd just gotten through a horrendous breakup. And worse, I was in the middle of my PhD. I was so far away from the beginning that I forgot why I did it. And I was so far away from the end that I thought I was never going to finish. And I was living alone by myself now in a strange new neighborhood, and I was uncertain of everything. And I don't remember catching her name, but somehow Chris tracked me to my lab 4 months later and called me out of the blue and asked me out to dinner. And I said yes, but after a few hours over dinner, I thought to myself, no, I just wasn't ready. She was 10 years older than me, and I just wasn't ready, but I didn't want to be alone again. So I said words that I thought that I would never, ever say. I said, could we just be friends? Friends, sure. It was a little weird, but it was the most that I could do. She had a job, she had a condo. We'd spend time there because it was a lot better than my studio apartment and my steady diet of macaroni and cheese. And I was at her condo one night, and she was in the kitchen opening up a bottle of wine, and I was sitting in her living room, and on her coffee table was a 3-ring binder with a logo on the cover that said Johnny G. Spinning Instructor Manual. And I opened it up and I flipped through it, but it didn't make any sense to me. So I called to the kitchen. I said, hey, Chris, what's spinning? And she said, it's a class that I teach. And I said, so you just get together and spin around? And she said, no, it's a fitness class. It's a class on stationary bikes. And I said, so people pay money to ride stationary bikes inside? That's weird. She said, no, it's fantastic. It's the best workout program I've ever done. You should try it. You should come take my class. And I had a bike when I was a kid. It was a tangerine Schwinn bike with a white banana seat and chopper-style handlebars and a big orange fluorescent flag mounted on the back fender that my parents put there because I almost got hit by a car once. But I really wasn't the workout type. I mean, it's not that I was in bad shape. I just was not in any shape. I didn't exercise. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't work out. I pipetted, and I wrote, and I read journal articles. So naturally, when Chris said I should come take her class, I said, sure. And not long after, on December 23rd of 1996, I showed up at a gym in Lincoln Park, dressed in the only gym clothes that I could find: cut-off sweatpants, a heavy cotton t-shirt from the Hard Rock Cafe, tube socks, and Chuck Taylors. And I was there to take my first spin class. And I walked in, Chris had taught the 5 o'clock class, I was there at 6 o'clock, and I walked into the studio, and it was steamy. And Chris was there on the bike, and underneath the bike was a pool. And I'm not talking a few drops. There was a literal puddle of sweat. I was very nervous. But Chris was so excited to see me, so she put me right in the front row, and she strapped my feet into the pedals. She got me a towel. And as people were filing in, I said to her, I go, what do I do? And she said, just do what I do. And then the lights came down, and the music started blasting. And I started pedaling as fast as I could. I was spinning. And then I started to sweat. And then I started to feel uncomfortable. And then I started to feel pressure in my chest. And then I started to feel like I was going to die. No, I was pretty certain that I was going to die. And after about 10 minutes, I got up off of the bike, I unstrapped myself, I ran to the men's locker room, and I threw up all over the place. And I spent the rest of the hour lying on a bench in the men's locker room, praying that my heart rate, which was now above 200, would actually come down. And when the class was over, Chris ran up to me and she said to me, are you okay? Are you okay? And I looked at her and I'm like, no, I am clearly not okay. My life is a disaster. I'm impossibly out of shape, and I'm probably going to die before I turn 30. And in the weirdest, most impulsive thing that I ever did, I took the last of my money, $250, and I bought a 3-month pass to the gym. The next day I went home and I was paralyzed in pain. The day after was Christmas of 1996. I was alone lying on my couch and pissed at myself because I spent my food money on this stupid fucking gym membership card and that's all I had. And the next day, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get the value for this membership because I spent the money and I'm going to go to the gym. So I went to the gym and I signed up for a spin class. I sat in the back row and I pedaled very slowly because I was going to get through that whole class. And I did. And next day, pain. But 3-4 days later, I went again. And after a month, I was going 3-4 times a week. And after 2 months, I was going every day. And I was craving spin classes. And 4 months later, I bought a bike. And I signed up for the AIDS ride. And I rode from Minneapolis to Chicago in 6 days, 520 miles. And 6 months later, I was a certified spin instructor. And 6 months after that, I was teaching spin classes 12 a week all over Chicago. We met in the most unusual place, a blowout Christmas party for a plastic surgeon. I was 31, it was December of 1999. I could run a 6-minute mile. I was teaching back-to-back spin classes after 36 hours on call. I looked good in bike shorts. I didn't know her name when she came up to me, but she said, "Hey, I know you. You're my spinning instructor." And 4 months later, I said words that I had never said before, 19 years ago. And she said, "Yes." Thank you.